everyone, welcome back. I am feeling very Christmassy today, despite it being a blustery October morning. Around this time every year, I start to get this feeling of nostalgia and almost borderline anxiety about the overconsumption about to happen. When I say nostalgia, I kind of mean nostalgia for a time that I wasn't even alive for, when Christmas was much simpler. But to me, that's what Christmas felt like when I was a child. The environment that my family created around Christmas time had nothing to do with things we were buying. Getting presents on Christmas was like a completely separate thing that had nothing to do with the idea of Christmas to me, even as a kid. And as I've gotten older, I have really started to feel this claustrophobia surrounding the holidays, in the expectation from other people as an adult to participate in consumption in ways that I don't do in my everyday life. And for a while in my early adult years, I mean, I still think I'm an early adult, I'm 27, but for the first little while of when you're responsible for, like, you're buying your own presents for people, you're making traditions, doing things yourself aside from like your parents or your family unit. In those first years of me doing that, I really tried my hardest to conform to the idea of what the larger people, not necessarily that people in my life expected this, but just society in general expects you to make it this huge over-the-top thing. That only works for so long, in my opinion, especially if you're not just inherently wealthy. It's a very difficult thing to pull off. Over the years, I have almost come up with traditions on my own, or little challenges, to try to simplify Christmas gift giving and decorating and all of these kinds of things as much as possible. So I thought I would make this video on how I have a homemade Christmas. Hopefully I can share some of these ideas with you and sort of ease some of the burden that you might be feeling around this time of year. Last year I set myself a goal to thrift or make as many gifts as possible, and I almost got there. There was a couple things that I knew people wanted, or that I wanted to get people, that I just couldn't find as time was running out at the thrift store. But I think I'm definitely going to reinstate that challenge this year. So hopefully this video will also serve as some inspiration for me. We are going to begin our homemade Christmas journey outside, where everything wonderful and free resides. Alright, essential DIY supplies is a good cup of tea. Always need my emotional support tea. I went outside and harvested a little basket full of different types of foliage. So in my basket, which I want to mention, by the way, because I felt pretty good about myself. Every time I use this basket, I feel so happy and like prideful, because I made this basket. This was the first basket I ever wove, and it's done with Virginia creeper, which I never hear people talk about weaving with. I love weaving with Virginia creeper. It's my favorite thing. It gives you this kind of look like grapevine does, but it's so much easier to weave with. It's so pliable and soft, and it just dries perfectly gnarly and imperfect. I love it. Anyways, so I took my homemade basket, I went out and I got some First of all, spruce. I just took some spruce tips that were within reach that had these little cones on them. Next, I picked some boxwood. This isn't something that you will really be able to like forage in the wild for, but it is pretty commonplace in gardens. If you don't have a boxwood, someone you know probably does, and probably, ideally, if you have the right kind of friends, wouldn't mind you chopping off a little handful for a wreath. I love boxwood in wreaths. I think it's a really nice fresh feel to more traditional evergreens. It gives you that really nice, like almost emeraldy pop of green you can see on the underside of the leaves. I just like the depth that it adds to more traditional Christmas greens. And it wouldn't be a Bella wreath if I didn't add some herbs from my garden. 2 herbs, well, I guess not quite the rosemary, but we take our rosemary plant inside in the winter. So fresh rosemary is pretty much something I always have access to. Thyme is always green here. It has to be a pretty crazy winter for us to have our thyme die back a lot. Usually you can just move the snow and there's tons of thyme sitting under there. I love adding little touches like this that you don't see in wreaths that you would be buying. Like, this is the point of a homemade Christmas, is you can make it so special and unique and specific to you that you'll look at the stuff in the store and be like, I don't even care about those wreaths because they don't have my homegrown rosemary and thyme in them. Why would I even bother spending $80 on that wreath? Saying that, I am a florist and I do sell wreaths. Speaking of that, last year I did up a whole bunch of these really simple, very, very dainty willow wreaths. So I just wove the base out of willow that I just cut roadside. Willow is something that where I live is so readily available. We have a lot of water around here. Willow just grows like weeds everywhere. And it is one of those plants that when you cut it, it just encourages more growth and it grows like crazy. So willow is something that I don't mind foraging because I know it's really not impacting the plant that much. Be considerate when you're foraging outside to understand how the plants you're pulling from work, at least at a very basic level. And if something is extremely slow growing, maybe don't pull from that species. I'm gonna pick this medium-sized wreath because I'm not entirely sure where I'm gonna put this, so I feel like this is a manageable size to work with. And I already have it full of rose hips from last year. I'm gonna use this as my base, so I already have this pop of red in here. If you're gonna weave something yourself like this, it's so easy. I feel like I don't even need to explain it. You just make a circle and keep winding and winding and winding and stick the ends in to secure them. When it's fresh, it's very malleable and it's easier to stick stuff in it. But since this is all already dry, I did bring wire just to help me out a little bit. Guys, I can't. Just like these two things together. Oh my god. I love it. One tip I have for making these wreaths is some of the greenery you might have, you can see with this boxwood. I'm holding this stem straight and it leans this way. It's just the way the plant grows. A lot of greens lean up. So when you cut this and you go to put it on your wreath, it might be just completely sticking out straight. What I like to do, especially with boxwood, because the underside is a different color, is I like to put some on facing up and some on facing down. So I use the ones that are especially bent and I face them down just so that I can utilize all the things that I cut. And it also gives you a nice variance in colors. I usually focus boxwood and the spruce as the base. It's always a little bit tricky to know when to stop with these and when to keep going when it's not enough. Since I made the base on this pretty small, you can see there's not a ton of space to stick stuff in. I wanted to keep with that sort of form and just make it substantial, but not too bushy. So all the sprigs I used were quite small. For the bow on top, to hang this up, I just used some jute twine. Sometimes I'll go for a ribbon. I have an extensive collection of velvet and satin ribbons from over the years. I always reuse them every single Christmas season, but this year and last year, I'm just liking something like way more simple and natural. I want to talk a little bit about making your Christmas presents. Some people think handmade gifts are so much more meaningful. Some people do not like them. This is something that I am really trying to be conscious of this year. Everyone's tastes are different. Totally get that. As the holidays are rolling back around this year, I always try to keep in mind what people thought of the gifts I gave them last year and how I'm going to approach this year while still staying true to my values of trying to not overconsume things, trying to not spend too much money, not being wasteful. And being wasteful can fall under the category of buying things from big corporations that were made in ways that I don't necessarily support, but it can also mean buying things for people, even if it's thrifted, even if you make it yourself, things that people are not actually going to use because you're just contributing to more things that are probably going to end up going in the garbage. So when I'm thinking of things that I want to make for people, I like to try to give things that are useful. And so something that I made for both my mom and my sister last year, and they're people that always appreciate my handmade gifts, but I made them knitted dish scrubbies. I think another way to incorporate handmade gifts if you feel like they're not quite enough or you feel like somebody is expecting to see something a little bit more traditional as the gift they're receiving is to add them as like an add-on on top of something. So last year I knew my sister really wanted a Dutch oven, so I got her a nice one from HomeSense. That was one of the things that I wasn't able to find at the thrift store, unfortunately. But I went to HomeSense, got one that was in my price range that I thought she would like, and then I knit her one of these scrubbies, or two of them, I don't remember, as an add-on on top of it to make it a little bit more special. I'm gonna work on a couple of these today because I need to get started on my gifts like right now if I'm gonna stick to this hand making and thrifting all of my gifts. Really big part of not feeling the pressure to conform to what other people think that Christmas is supposed to mean, or what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be decorating, the things we're supposed to be buying, is setting different expectations and making traditions with yourself. I find these moments in the very beginning of the Christmas season, like even late October, I start to get excited about Christmas. That's because over the years, I've come up with so many different little traditions and rituals that I have with myself that are more to do with welcoming in a new season than they are to do with Christmas, the actual day. And so last week, I went outside and picked myself a basket of pine cones. Actually, I picked myself a giant basket of pine cones because I want to make some pine cone garlands. I was at the dollar store walking down the Christmas aisle seeing what they had, and they had these like hangers to put on your door, and I thought it was so cute and I almost bought it. And then I said to myself, what are you doing? Put that back. Why would you ever pay money for pine cones and twine? No offense if you've done that, but I mean, come on. Let's go outside and let's pick some friggin' pine cones ourselves. So I went home and I filled a basket full of pine cones. I left lots for the squirrels and whoever else wants them, and I went on about my day. I also purchased a bushel of apples for making applesauce and canning and preserving in different ways. And I wanted to do this for so long, to dry them out in the oven and make a garland of dried apples. So I did that this morning. I have these here, and I thought I would combine them with my pine cones, put some garlands together for my new apartment because we have many windows there, and I think I'm gonna wanna just cover everything with beautiful, natural, wintry, harvesty sort of decorations, not Christmas, so that I can do it whenever I want. I don't have to feel like I'm being too early. I don't have to feel like I have to take these down on December 26th. This kind of thing is what I mean by changing your expectations. If you want to make things yourself, if you want to do things in a sustainable way, if you want to take some of the pressure off of yourself, I would just challenge yourself for one Christmas season and see if you can pare things back and make things a little bit more natural and kind of try reflecting what's going on outside and bring that in for your decor instead of running to Michael's or the dollar store or Home Sense and seeing what those companies are all telling you should buy. This will never go out of style. This will always be adorable and charming, and it's all just gonna go in the compost pile when I'm done with it, which is the best part. I'm gonna sit and make some garlands. I just have some twine here. I'm just gonna start by making some 3-foot wide garlands, maybe like 4 feet, just so I have a little bit of extra. Well, realistically, am I gonna measure it? No, I'm gonna go like this.